Hello and welcome to Cinemania. My name is Ellis Charles Hoffmeister, and I am talking about film from my bed where I have woken up. um, Today, I'm talking about the seminal masterpieces Book Club and Book Club The Next Chapter, which came out this year. For anyone who isn't acquainted with Book Club, which I don't know. I think the first one was a success because they did a sequel. So I did not research. I just went, you know what? Let's start talking about these things because it's all these people that I love. Book Club stars Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton, Mary Steenburgen, Bergen. Does anyone know? And then Candice Bergen. Oh, Candice Bergen, who is the standout of both Book Club and Book Club The Next Chapter, which is the sequel that came out this year in 2023. I think the original came out I want to say 2018. Of the cast, three of the four have Oscars. Jane Fonda has two for Coming Home and for Clute. Diane Keaton has one for Annie Hall. Mary Steenburgen has one for Melvin and Howard. And Candice Bergen does not have an Oscar, which is wild to me. Because just give her an Oscar for one of these films because she's just delightful in it. But she was nominated for Starting Over. Of those films, the only ones I haven't seen, and I love all of them, and I love all those performances, are, I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing of Melvin and Howard, but I had a DVD of it for a long time, and I feel like I should have seen. I might still actually have a DVD of it somewhere lying around here. But I haven't seen the whole thing of Melvin and Howard, and I've never seen Starting Over, which I do need to watch because I'm a fan of, obviously, Candice Bergen, and then Jill Clayburgh, and Burt Reynolds. I couldn't think of what his name was for a while, but then I was like, Carpet, the man that laid naked on the carpet and we all fantasized about for a hot second there, and who came back with Boogie Nights. There are a lot of movies you could just bounce off of. Okay, these films have huge casts. The biggest part of trivia about all this to me is that Book Club is centered around a group of older women who are stuck in some ways, and through their lives, they've basically kept in touch through a book club. And I believe it's Jane Fonda's character. Basically, it's her turn to pick the book, and they've done this for years, and she decides to pick 50 Shades of Grey. And then that kind of like reinvigorates all the women to have these new experiences with their spouses or with, you know, themselves or with the men that in their life that they loved or so the biggest part of trivia of this is that Don Johnson plays Jane Fonda's love, who she rejected years before. And obviously, Don Johnson's daughter, Dakota Johnson, played Anastasia Steele in 50 Shades of Grey and is the best part of those films to me. Although I do enjoy them, some more than others. And then there's Book Club The Next Chapter, which, you know, takes place after Book Club. Okay, real talk too, I cried during both Book Club and Book Club The Next Chapter. I cry in everything. This should just be called Cinema Tears, which it might be because Cinemania might not be the title I stick with. But Cinema Tears feels very right. Is anyone watching? What's happening here? Why am I doing this? I do not know. It is Friday. Oh, but also, famously, and so the love interests of sorts are Andy Garcia is Diane Keaton's love interest, who she famously played his aunt of sorts in The Godfather Part 3, if you've seen it. My hot take, I love Godfather Part 3. I think it would be way more critically loved, but I didn't watch the recut, which I need to watch, if it wasn't, you know, attached to the first two. The Death of Michael Corleone, I believe, is what the retitle is. Is it Coda? I think it's Coda. It's what it is. The Death of Michael Corleone. I'll look that up. Anyway, so you got, you have, in the first one, you have, what's his name, who is in, everyone's basically been attached to each other, too, because these are films where everyone is connected. And the guy, Greg T. Nelson, who played Diane Keaton's husband in one of my all-time favorite films and favorite films of our family, The Family Stone. But he is the husband of Mary Steenburgen. Jane Fonda, her love interest is Don Johnson. Not Al Pacino, that was the real life, one of the many of Diane Keaton. Andy Garcia plays her love interest. And then Candice Bergen gets it on with a whole bunch of other people, namely Richard Dreyfuss in the first one. And then Wallace Shawn is a potential in One Strange Scene, and her ex is played by Ed Begley Jr. And then in the sequel, she's got Giancarlo Giannini. It's kind of like a love interest of sorts, I guess. I don't know. He's the cop that arrests them. Anyway, the first book club, I would say I'd give 4 out of 5 stars. The second one, I'd give 3 out of 5 stars. Mostly because I think that the whole kind of book club plot is almost like it's like a jumping off point for the first film, but basically just gets abandoned in the sequel. So it's basically them tearing around Italy and having a good time post-pandemic, and then musing on life, which is really fun. And it's a total romp. It's streaming on Peacock. The original book club is streaming on Paramount. And does anyone know why they switched studios? Because I don't feel like it's often that a sequel gets kicked over to a different studio in terms of the big distribution, but maybe I'm wrong in that. Anyway, so I said what I thought about them. They're a lot of fun. If you love any of these actresses, you'll enjoy them. I mean, it's easy. It's why I felt about 80 for Brady. I was like, this film could be anything, and I would still watch it. So, book club, enjoy it. Have a good time. The second one is streaming on Peacock. If you've seen the first one but haven't seen the second one, it's worth watching. It's a fun time. Okay, have a great day.